Hi there, and welcome back to History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to continue with Volume 2 of my Fleetwood Mac Scrapbook collection, and this is going to be Episode 4. Pretty sure about that. When I last ended, I was talking about some of these great photos that I got, and I had mentioned that there were some that I think in one of them it showed maybe that it was Kenny Loggins who had opened, and I don't know if anybody's a fan of him, but these were included with the photos I got. You can see these are kind of still curly. See how they're kind of concave, maybe. But yes, these weren't flattened out quite as long as the Fleetwood Mac ones were. But it's funny, I have actually a quite a bit of Kenny Loggins photos, and I just don't know. I don't mean to, but I mean he opened up for Fleetwood Mac several times, so there's those photos. And then I used to run storage facilities, and in an auction unit one time, somebody had a whole bunch of negatives from him in like 1994 and him in Vegas in like 1970 something. So I just have all these Kenny Loggins photos. It's just funny. I just randomly, I must come across them for a reason. And then we're going to kind of go back a little bit more, even further, and bringing up where Kenny Loggins had been on, I think, some of the proof sheets also I had mentioned for that gentleman who had done the pictures for the New York Post. Where is that at? Here. His name was, starts with a V, I want to say. Vernon Shibla. So when I was showing all these pictures last time, there had still been some more, and I knew there was. I'd shown on the proof sheet that there was a really nice photo of Christine, and it was really cool that I had this one enlarged. And then again, there's this little, not a receipt, but just this paper kind of tacked onto the back that it was going to be, you know, I guess early close. This is probably just all newspaper terminology and paperwork for the Friday paper drama section, 2 of 1, because there's 2 photos, June 29th, 77, New York Post staff photo. So he, you know, given it to them with his last name. And then this has the orange crayon that photographers use a lot to kind of, you know, before Photoshop, how they're going to cut it down, you know, center it and stuff like that. So, but just a really great shot of Christine in larger detail, better than you could see on the negative proof sheet. And then there was this one of Mick, just having stepped out of the shower. I can't imagine, like, your hair's all wet. Like, I don't know how his beard doesn't get wet too. And then lastly, one of those great Stevie photos enlarged. And I mean, this is really nice, but it's still not the one where I was mentioning you can see her mom in the background. I think maybe I don't have an enlargement of that one, but it's just on one of the proof sheets. But a really great photo of Stevie. So yeah, those were holed up elsewhere after I had just gone over the video. And then I swear when I did that video night before last or whenever, I found like this large envelope, like a mail envelope full of little tiny clippings, little pieces of from the 70s and stuff that, you know, could be a collage. They maybe don't all match and stuff like that, but there's just so much more that should have gone into this book. And it's funny, I think there are other genres that I more feel complete in, like maybe Mirage, Tango in the Night. I still have some stuff out, but those books feel more complete. But also when I spoke about the procrastination, I didn't really want to get started in the 70s books because there is still a bulk of stuff. There are a lot of photos. I mean, these are nothing. These are just a little bit here and there. But on that note, going back even further, we're going to just kind of keep going backwards before we go forwards. These were more of those photos from Japan. The person, like I said, had, and I think I mentioned in the video, some had been enlarged. And these came with all the small photos. And then those little, Now, I did not still find the photo albums, but here were some of the pictures I found. So I don't think Stevie's in this one at all, but yeah, and he was probably just, neither of these. I mean, they count. I mean, it's really hard to see, but they're cool. I imagine, probably back in the day, getting the negative, probably just wanting these in large just to see if they would come out any clearer. And this one's damn near the same as this one. It's just not much better, but it's still kind of cool. I wish one of them had Stevie in it, though. Yeah, so these were just 3 extras that, again, were with all those little photos from Japan. Going back further, I had mentioned that there were some photos I had of Sunday break. This is another one. This is a large, it's on a big poster board, large, and it's by, again, Bill Dara's Postenbach. So you can see there. I'm not only fond of it, well, it's pretty funny how Stevie and Lindsay look, but this is Mary Torrey, who's a very close friend of Stevie's, and, in lots of photos with Stevie. And then somewhat recently, in the last couple of years, had done the soundboard, I think, for Stevie's monitor. I don't know what the correct title is. She's a freaking peach. And I mentioned this before with the records. I love her, but that smile, I mean, I don't mean to sound weird, but like if I'm in a bad mood and I just happen to walk past this thing, it brings me joy. She's just a person that just, you probably couldn't help but smile if you're around her. I love Stevie, I love Lindsay, but that lady has a smile that is just complete joy. And so I love this picture. So I love it of Stevie and Lindsay, but I really, really like it of Mary. And going back to that, remember I'd had some photos. There were 2 color photos that were from the manager's personal effects. And one of them was Jenny with Lucy, I think, Lucy and Amy. Well, Amy was with another girl I couldn't identify. So this was another picture that went with that. This is a legitimate September 76. And this is more people at that show because they're in front of the little, backstage trailer. So I don't know who any of these people are. This lady looks really, actually they all look familiar. Well, this one I can't make out. I've never tried. These 2 ladies look familiar. But again, I think one of the photos that I had was her and Lucy or Amy, I want to say. Let's see if I can find that here. Whoops. Maybe it's a little too far back. I hate doing this on video. I'm so sorry. But mostly I kind of also wanted to find it because I would really love if anybody's out there who happens to be watching, and highly unlikely, but just it would be really cool. Somebody could help identify these people. That's maybe from the first album, huh? Maybe that's why I'm not seeing it. That's okay. That's okay. Never mind. Forget that ever happened. None of this happened. But anyway, that was just kind of a cool another personal photo that had come out of Gabrielle Aras, Gabby, her stuff. And this is that little trailer. That's not it, but I think they're sitting over here. And so funny, you can also just barely make out Christine here, her hair and her little cape thing that she's wearing. And then this was another photo of Stevie from that event. They're actually not very flattering photos, any of them, really. She looks pretty high there. She's probably not, probably no drugs involved at all. Probably just so hot, the sun, so hot that day. And then when I mentioned having this, there's still another one I'm missing, but this is just so damn cute. Again, this is Lucy and Amy. And again, another photo out of Gabrielle's personal collection. And I can't help but wonder if I don't think it's the same day, but it's got to be right around the same time. This is the bicentennial, 76. All I know is that I have a picture of myself as a little kid with the flag like this. It was a big deal. But yeah, probably maybe right around the same time, but another photo I'd come across. And I have one more of Lucy, who's on stage with Fleetwood Mac. You can't make out Fleetwood Mac, but you can tell she's definitely on stage. It's really cute. But yeah, so those were going kind of back further. And then again, just a couple of random odds and end ones that I found. This was a really nice one. Again, this looks pretty early. Fleetwood Mac. This should probably go in the first volume book. And then this was an outtake, a weird little sized outtake. It's just plain white on the back. There's nothing on the back, but I don't know if from Herbert Worthington. I don't know if it was a little card or what it was. It's kind of a photograph. It's kind of a, got a weird little texture to it and stuff, but just really cool, just of John. So, like I said, going back, because it was just stuff I happened to come across last night, and I'm like, man, I've already gone over this, and so even though I missed it in the photo albums, I just thought, the heck with it. So, still continuing on where we had left off here. Now, this is what kind of goes back and forth. I had also shown this photo here of Mick, and then I have these two photos. Like, again, I can't tell if they go with, because some of it has the scaffolding in the back. And then there's another one that's coming up. I definitely think those two are obviously from the same night. But yeah, it's hard to say. Anyway, it's pretty cute. Now, this is a funny story. When we would go down to one of my friends, I have a couple, I'll probably come up with stories more about them later, but there's a couple people that were integral for a period of time when I was traveling, seeing Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks a lot. But one friend who lived in Southern California, I was going to, I already said the name of it, but now I forgot of it, Hollywood, oh man, I forgot the name of the shop. There's two shops, Star World on Hollywood Boulevard. And I'd been shopping there for years. And then a friend of mine was friends with the owner. She had also been going there for years. We had ended up staying with that person one time, going to a show. There's a whole bunch of stories, but that's more for the concert stories. But anyway, we were at a shop one time, and he always had the most amazing stuff. And it was really hard not to spend a lot of money. And some of the original, like this thing here, at one point he had received a photo album, like a clean back photo album that had nothing but selfies of Stevie. They weren't necessarily Polaroids. Like this, I'm sure is a Polaroid, but it's been blown up by Stevie or Herbert. It's hard to say. This is, you can see the cord on it here. That's the little thing that she's holding to take the selfie. But that was one of the items. There's other things that I'll show you periodically when I come across them, and those are more like in the 80s stuff. But he had things like that, and my friend and I tore it apart. And I think one or two other people got in on it because he would do mail order of stuff. And we were always so livid because we don't know, because we were there in person, so we don't know what went off to other people where, overseas and stuff like that. We just were like, no, you save that for us. We wanted to look at it and stuff. It's kind of funny. But after we had expired that album and done as much damage as we could, and, they weren't cheap then either, but, now by today's cost, it would, if he was asking $100 for that, for example, let's just say, of course, it would be nothing, but back then it was. And we had gone down one visit, and my girlfriend found a couple of stuff, and he pulled this photo out. And I don't know why it is, but this is hands down one of possibly my most favorite photo of Stevie. And it's not, because there's some around Mirage and stuff like that, but there's something about this one, and I don't know why, But this photo is absolutely a contender for one of my, I mean, way up there on my list. She kind of looks sad. You kind of can't see her face, but I think it's just she's probably just chilling. It's just the whole silhouette, the whole Stevie look. It gives me goosebumps. Just, I can't imagine, being a performer at all. I don't know, people say it's a high and a low. A lot of people say when they're, for performers, it's magical and it gives you a high to look at all those people, but it also is like a lot of pressure and stuff. I imagine, I don't think I have the persona to comprehend or take it in that way as either of those ways. It would be something else. I don't know what exactly, but it just wouldn't be like that to me. But Stevie's look here and just the way it is. But anyway, the photo was, at the time, it was $100. That's what he charged me. This is the original. And I wasn't leaving town without this thing. And I had no money. We had gone for a concert or something. I don't know. And I remember calling my parents as a grown-ass adult, calling my mom and dad. And my mom's like, you're going to have to talk to your father. And I'm like, shit. Because my dad he's supportive. And I'm an only child and I'm his little girl. But when it comes to Stevie Nicks, he just has really never comprehended, or, he just kind of thinks it's really a waste of time and money. And I'm like, Dad, I don't care what I have to do, like pay you back or you get it. I don't care. I'm begging you. I can't leave without this photo, please. And obviously, he ran it. But it's funny because it also means a lot to me because he helped me to get it. And I don't know if I ended up having to pay him back. Probably not. I probably offered maybe, and he probably just let me keep it. But yeah, getting that, and it's on a really thick, really nice paper. Unfortunately, it does not have who the photographer is, which is really unfortunate. I would love to know, but it's freaking beautiful. It's just a really beautiful photo of Stevie. And when I went to go meet her, I actually took this down to have her sign, and I was unable to you could only get one thing signed, and that was the poster for In Your Dreams. And I was really bummed because this would have been really, I think, something really special. And I would have liked to have asked her what was going through her head, like if she has any recollection, or, because she's almost smiling. And, is she just taking a moment while Lindsay's talking, or Christine, or, is it just between songs, or what's going on? You know what I mean? So, and it looks like there was a lot of cool space. It would be neat if she had written something. So, pipe dreams, but yeah. So sorry about that, but this always brings me back to that memory, and it holds a really special place in my heart. So with that, back to, again, not knowing completely, these are just black and white, and a lot of them seem to kind of go, kind of not go. These all mixed up. These definitely go. I mean, it's that same poncho thing she's wearing, shawl, poncho, calling it here. And these, I'm sure of it. Just the glitter and stuff that's on it. And the way her hair is, I'm pretty sure it is. And again, with those little leaves and stuff like that, some of them, see there, the little leaves right here. Hey, listen, I'm not saying those same trees couldn't be somewhere else. I'm sure, and because I did a lot of outside shows, but just trying to team them up with the same, are they the same show? And what's funny about that to me is that, like I said, these are from 2 and 3 different, right here on the page is 3 different people who took photos that I believe are on the same day. And I found them at different times. And here's a 4th one. Now these are definitely different. And this one I recently got and I think I've shown it already. I think I got one. This probably should have gone in there earlier. I think this is definitely pre rumors. Maybe these all are, but I think this is closer to 75, 76, and these are more 77, 76, 77, in my opinion. But this one and this one kind of look like here, so it's just hard to say. And these, I think, were taken by Tori. There's a couple, it's not on the back of the photos, but there's a couple people, I think they were brought up in the book by Ed Winstonson, Tori and David Linden or something like that. I just think that this one and this one were by them. I can't account for these, maybe this one too, but the photographer unknown in these. So then we get to kind of did a funny, almost like a Halloween type page. Some couple girlfriends and I, we really, really love this one little outfit of Stevie's. We've all collectively come to the decision we would love to see Stevie wear that again, or ask where it is. We absolutely love that little spider web shrug or capelet thing. So these pictures might go together, but it was just more putting it together where she's wearing that little capelet because we just love it. It's so adorable. And this paper is kind of Halloween paper with like there's little spiders and stuff on it, kind of like the capelet. Thought it was kind of cute. Super early shot of her. So you can just barely see she's wearing it, and I definitely think it's the same day as this one. Ones that haven't been made into a page yet, but we're in with that are these ones here. This is from that giant poster that got cut up. You can see how it used to be. This is what those old albums from the 70s would do to your photos. Can you see all the lines going through it? And it would curl them. Thank God this is super flat, but just see how yellowed and gross it is on the back. All those lines. There's this little baby photo here. But this is a perfect example of stuff that's waiting to go, needs to be made into a page. Needs to find a little bit more stuff. There's not quite room here on these, but it just goes with it. So, again, kind of behind on that. Then I think I'm going to end with these pages right here. This was some cool shots of Stevie wearing the Obi shirt. It's funny, a couple of these had shown up in the past, and then they just, all of a sudden, there was a whole bunch. Now, these were the originals, or some originals. These were all taken by David Hill in 1977. So they've all got a stamp on the back. And then here's another one. And then some cute little ones from magazines and such. Again, you can see this was salvaged from a photo album with all those little stripes in it. Mac and Stevie, hard folk to follow. This is from the New York Post, June 30th, 1977, this article. So yeah, that's how I'm going to end on this one. I'm sorry to be going back in time with the other stuff that I found, but I had shown it recently, and I think that's just how these videos are going to go. They're going to, sometimes we'll get way ahead and I'll be like, hold up, we have to kind of go back a little bit. And I know for a fact I'll still find stuff, but it was real strange that I didn't have these, especially with those other photos. I was really surprised I didn't have those nearby. So I hope you enjoyed everything. And we have, I think, one more video. I think I can get one more video out of this rumors era type photo album, which is a joke because, like I said, there's probably at least, I don't know, but the stuff that I have, I would imagine that there's probably at least 15 more pages, which would be 30, because back to back. So that's almost another album in itself. And granted, that's putting 2 photos, 2 8x10s on, so that would be 4 on a page, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. but there's a lot of stuff like that. But then there's a lot of the small stuff. So again, I'll probably be way into Tusk and be like, well, wait a minute, let's go back, because I did a page on rumors, and yeah. So I still hope you enjoy it. I hope you saw some stuff again. I think with each video, I'm really hoping that people are seeing some stuff they haven't seen before and are enjoying that. It's really nice to be able to share it. I've had so much of the stuff for so many years. And this picture, though, I don't think it's super widely circulated, but I don't hardly ever see it. But knowing that I have an original, it just really means a lot to me. And that I kept kind of, close to the hip. Is that the term? Close to the bone. Because it was mine and how I got it, and paid good money for it. And I know that it's in some pictures, like I posted some pictures about an old bedroom that I had that I completely done up with all my posters, and that picture's in there, but it's got a big white mark on it because I didn't want people copying it. Shit like that happens on the internet and stuff. But anyway, again, I hope you saw some stuff you hadn't seen before. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me tonight and hearing me prattle on as I do, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night. Bye.